Yeah, obviously, Fordham's a really great opponent, and it was really a tale of two halves for us. We played really well in the first half. We moved the ball pretty efficiently on offense, left a few big plays out there, some misses that we had in the pass game. Got some stops defensively. Held down after an explosive, held them to a field goal. So I think going into halftime, it was like, all right, we know we left some stuff out there. It's a close football game, and then obviously the third quarter, they really kind of leaned on us a little bit more and pulled away. They took advantage of some mistakes and some miscues. We had some drops, both offensively and defensively. We dropped 2 interceptions, some miscues on special teams, and you can't make those types of mistakes versus good opponents, especially when the elements are a factor too. So that was disappointing just to see the lack of finish in that third quarter, really, because we knew it was a really tight ball game going into halftime, and we had our opportunities. So, for us, if we look at it holistically, we had a 3-game road trip. We went 2-1, right, which is definitely a positive, and now we have an opportunity to return home finally after being away for 3 weeks and play the defending conference champs. Yeah, I think you learn a lot about playing teams like New Hampshire and Fordham, right? Obviously, those are 2 teams that are currently ranked nationally, 2 teams that were in the playoffs last year, just like St. Francis is. So for us, you're kind of seeing like how their roster is composed, what makes them successful, what puts them on a national scale or a chance, gives them an opportunity to compete in the playoffs. And there's things that that you can apply to your own program or to your own style of coaching. So I think we look at those things off the field. I mean, on the field, obviously, you're looking at how complex are they in those 3 phases, and what makes them successful, and lets you know what you need to do to compete at the highest level of FCS football. So, I learned a lot about our team these last 3 weeks going on the road in terms of just handling distractions and operating in different environments and competing in close football games. So, as much as the loss to Fordham stings, I think if you look at it from a big picture standpoint, we went on the road for 3 games, won a big conference game in a close game, won a big out of conference game in a close game, and obviously fell pretty short this past weekend. So to win 2 of the 3 games on the road, it was huge for us as a young FCS program. So now to get back into conference play, it kind of just helps center you and allows you to kind of shift your mindset to, hey, we're trying to win this conference championship, and it starts this week. I think when you look at St. Francis, obviously they're a really talented football team. Their record is not indicative of how well coached they are, how quality of a roster that they have. Obviously, they played an FBS opponent in Western Michigan. They played Delaware, who's a really great program, a playoff team. They lost a really close one this past week, and obviously a field goal as time expired against Sacred Heart in a really back and forth game. So I think they're probably looking at, as you do usually when you lose really close games, is you had a lot of opportunities to win the game, and obviously they didn't execute in those moments, but I'm sure that they're going to be motivated and hungry to get in the win column, just as we are. So they have a terrific quarterback, Cole Doyle, defending conference player of the year, offensive player of the year last year, and he's got some weapons around him, a really good offensive line. So they're a complete football team. They just haven't gotten into the win column yet. Yeah, I think out of all the close football games that we had last year, and unfortunately last year we were on the losing end of the majority of them, right, that was one of the ones that's kind of stung the most, right, because, I thought we played really well defensively. We had 3 turnovers. We got some really key stops in big moments. We held one of the most explosive offenses in the conference in check that afternoon. And obviously we had opportunities at the end of the game. We had the ball at the end. We also had an opportunity to recover, a fumbled punt return by them that would have gave us the ball at the 20-yard line, and they recovered their own muff punt. So, just you look at, obviously when you lose close games, you're going to reflect on those moments that could have impacted or changed the outcome. And so I think for us, it's looking at that game plan, obviously looking at how they attacked us, but also understanding like it's a new year, right? We're a little different, they're a little different. So you try to take that into consideration, but with a grain of salt, because obviously they've had 4 games now, as have we, to build a new game plan off of and build a new identity off of. So you look at it, obviously look at the personnel, but you have to pay a little bit more attention to who they are this year and what they've done, just as you have to do with us. Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously a part of our game. It's a part of the sport, right? It's why you recruit. It's why you develop guys. If somebody is out or limited, right, it's a next man up mentality in terms of, we don't rely on just one guy to handle, one job for us, right? We work guys either in games or throughout the week of practice. So seeing them execute it, Monday through Friday gives us confidence that they can do it on Saturday. So if somebody is down, the next guy has to step up and perform and carry the load. And we have really a lot of confidence in our guys to perform, in our ability to prepare them to perform, and trust that they'll execute on Saturdays. Yeah, I think, St. Francis does a really good job of giving you multiple formations. They'll condense their sets. They'll motion around. They've got some gadget plays that you're going to see every single week. They're going to run it 1 or 2 times. Some shot plays down the field. I think, what we did a really good job of last year was we limited their ability to connect on those shot plays. And we, for the most part, were able to keep that quarterback in the pocket, and limit his ability of making plays with his legs or extending plays to make plays with his arm right down the field. So the big thing for us this week is we got to do a good job against their run scheme. They're a very cutback driven run scheme. They'll bring in some bigger bodies and create some extended surfaces. So we've got to do a great job of fitting the run and tackling, obviously. But it really comes down to, can you contain their quarterback? Can you keep him in the pocket? Can you make him make throws under duress? Can you not allow him to scramble around and extend plays either with his leg or with his arm? So that's going to be a big key to success for us, because they have some talented receivers out there that can run by you, and like I said, they'll have some schemes where they're gonna protect and take some shots to those guys. Yeah, I think a big thing for us defensively is continuing to gel. As we've had some new faces, it's probably, our experience is up front, right, in our front 6 and our front 7. So obviously having to lean on those guys, but then also, in the back end, really growing up and maturing and developing and becoming more game battled, game tested has been big for us. I think we've got some tremendous talent back there. They just some of them have only played 3 or 4 football games, So hopefully that's something that continues to happen for us throughout the year. I think there's the ability for us to play our best ball every single week moving forward, right, and getting better every single week. That's your goal. So I think that we're seeing that now a little bit. You're seeing us kind of grow up and mature and become a little bit more game tested. And obviously, defensively, you have to kind of, just like you have to do on offense, especially, it's like kind of settle into who you are, what your identity is that year, because it does change a little bit year to year. Like, there's things that you will always rely on, and that's more how you play. But from a scheme standpoint and figuring out like what we are truly really good at and what we do the most consistently, that's our task as coaches to continue to identify that and put our guys in positions to be successful so that they can make plays for us. So, but yeah, it was good to see that the fight and the finish in that first half, and we have some guys that are playing at a really high level for us defensively right now, so that's been great to see. Yeah, for us offensively, I mean, I think we have to do a great job of being balanced, in our philosophy, right? Like, our ability to run the ball has always, set up things for us from a pass game standpoint, but it also keeps defenses from, trying to hamstring us. I think what we saw last year was a lot of teams that would load the box, play a lot of man coverage against us, and kind of challenge us on the perimeter. I don't think teams have been able to do that as much this year, which is a good thing for us, because we've got some guys that are healthy and some more talent on the perimeter. So that's been good to see. Obviously, we've got to do a great job of decision making at the quarterback position and getting those balls to those receivers and making. I think the big thing for us is we have to consistently make the routine plays, right? I think if you can make the off script stuff is great, but if you can't make the routine play, if you can't stay on script, it doesn't matter when you get off script as much, because you're just out of rhythm. You're off schedule. So I think the big thing for us is to stay on schedule offensively. Can we create explosives? Can we downfield block and some of those run plays that are 5, 10, 12-yard gains, can they become more explosive plays for us? So sustaining drives is going to be huge for us on Saturday. We'll probably see everything from them defensively. If you watch them on film, they'll give you a 3 down front, they'll give you a 4 down front, they'll give you a bear, 5 down front. And because they can mix all of those looks in the box, it gives them a lot of flexibility coverage-wise. So you'll get, some cover 3 and some cover 1 with some high middle safety. Then you'll get some, some quarters concepts, with kind of a 4 across or a quarter half look. So they're not afraid to bring pressure. They're not afraid to run some different stunts and twists and games inside. So they will throw a lot at you. I think they're very aggressive in terms of their playing style, which is great. I think that's how they are on special teams as well. But I do think sometimes you can take advantage of them being over aggressive and out of position and kind of out of control. So I think that's something for us. The way you counter that is you play with great technique and discipline against that. So, but yeah, they'll give you a ton of different looks and challenge you in a lot of different ways. Yeah, our motivation this week is obviously to stay undefeated in conference play. The way we look at it is, we're 1-0 in conference, and our goal is to go 1-0 in conference this week. It's obviously there's a lot riding on the game. Like we're back home for the first time in a couple weeks, so it's great to play at WB. It's family weekend. We're celebrating the 75th anniversary of the college this weekend. So, and on top of that, the defending conference champs are coming to town. In a game that was a nail biter last year when we played them. So obviously we're looking to avenge that loss. We're looking to get back in the win column, but really the motivation is to play a great complete football game and go 1-0 this week and stay undefeated in conference play. Yeah, I think our players will echo this too. Like, just blown away about the support that we've received on the road. When we went to Central Connecticut, obviously a little bit easier of a trip for our local families, right? But to go down to like Georgetown a couple weeks ago, and our guys were saying this on the sideline, it felt like a home game. Like there was more purple in the stands than navy blue. So it was really cool to feel that energy and to have that level of support when that you're 8 hours away from your campus. And obviously to get back home this weekend and knowing if it's like that on the road, what's it going to be like when we're at home? And it's easy for everyone to come. And only having 4 home games this year, it puts even more on it. I've had a ton of alums reach out that they're coming back for this game. They want to come and watch the team play and see the Division I football game. So I think it'll be an awesome atmosphere. Encourage all the families and of students here or alumni to come back and to be a part of this special weekend to celebrate the college, to celebrate our program, and it should be an awesome atmosphere for our guys to play in.